All right, so let's look at tonight's homework, Thursday night's homework. If you haven't already numbered this, I would go ahead and number it starting with 19 and number it all the way to 27 so that when we put them into Edulastic tomorrow, they're easy to find and easy to punch in. Okay? All right, so we're going to get started. I'm not going to do these two with you. Like I said, you could punch those straight into your calculator and you don't need my help for that. So looking at number 21, it says 4 tomatoes cost $3.40. What is the unit rate? Well, that's going to require us to remember that unit rate means 1. So we know that 4 tomatoes cost $3.40. We want to know how much 1 tomato is going to cost. Okay, and it's kind of set up like a ratio box. You really could set it up as a ratio box where we have the price of tomatoes to money, price of tomatoes to the money. And if we have 4 tomatoes and they cost $3.40, we want to know how much 1 tomato is going to cost. So to solve that, we're going to cross multiply $3.40 times 1, which is $3.40, and divide it by 4. And it's going to give me the cost of 1 tomato, and that is going to be my unit rate, and that's going to be my answer. Number 22 says the Wildcats basketball team made 80% of the 95 shots taken. How many shots did they make? So I see a percent sign, so that means I'm going to make a percent box, and I'm going to have percent. I'm going to have 100 over here, is, of, and part to whole. Okay? And I'm going to go back and reread my question. It says the Wildcats basketball team made 80%. Well, 80% has to go in the percent box. Of the 95 shots taken, how many shots did they make? So of the 95, it's going to go in the of box. That's the total. That's the whole amount of shots that were taken. And we want to know the part in which how many were actually made. How much is 80% of 95? So we're going to solve for x by cross multiplying 95 times 80 and then dividing it by 100. And whenever I get there, it's going to be my answer for how many shots they actually made for number 22. All right, number 23 says, are the two expressions equivalent when x equals 6? So I'm going to plug in. Here's my first expression. I have 4 times the sum of 3x plus x. And it says that x equals 6. So I'm going to substitute 6 where there's an x. And one thing I need to remember is that right here, when I have a coefficient and a variable, the operation of multiplication is happening between the two. So I can now replace my x's with a 6. And I can plug that into my calculator. 3 times 6 is 18. 18 plus 6 is going to give me 24. So now I have 4 times 24. And that's going to give me 96. So then I'm going to look at my next expression of 12x. And x still equals 6. And just like up here, when a coefficient is next to a variable, multiplication is happening. And so I do 12 times 6, which gives me 72. 72 and 96 are not the same. So the question says, are they equivalent? And the answer to that is no, they are not equivalent because 96 and 72 are not the same thing. All right, for number 24, I want you to just mark out number 24. You don't have to do number 24. Number 25 says find the rule and solve for n. So we've got our chart here, x and y, and we have 3 to 9, 4 to 12, 6 to 18, and n to 27. All right, we need to figure out what are we doing to x to get to n. So what do I do to 3 to get to 9? Well, I can do 3 plus 6 equals 9. So I can try the plus 6 way, but it has to work for everything else. Does 4 plus 6 equal 12? No, it only equals 10, so that's not it. So I'm going to think to myself, what's another thing I can do to 3 to get to 9? Well, I can multiply by 3. So I'm going to test out multiplying by 3. Does 4 times 3 equal 12? Yes. Does 6 times 3 equal 18? Yes. So we know that we're taking our x and we're multiplying it by 3 to give us our y. So if I plug this in right here, I have n times 3 equals 27. So I'm going to have to ask myself, what times 3 equals 27? And whatever times 3 equals 27 is going to be our answer for n. And that's the question I'm looking for or that's the answer I'm looking for, is whatever n equals. Okay? All right. Number 26, it says find the area. So we have this shape that looks, it's a pentagon. I'm going to draw it kind of like this. It's got a dotted line. It's got 15, 9, and 11. And we're all talking about feet. And we want the area of these two shapes. So I can look at this and go, well, this is a trapezoid. So I could cut them into two trapezoids. Or I could look at the fact that this right here is a rectangle and a triangle. So I could do it either way. Last week we did trapezoids. This week let's do rectangles and triangles. So here I have my rectangle right here. So my rectangle, the formula for area of a rectangle is length times width. So my length of my rectangle is 9 and my width is 11. So 9 times 11 gives me 99. So my rectangle, this whole rectangle right here, equals 99. And now I've got my triangle, but I don't have any measurements on my triangle. One thing I do know about rectangles is that opposite sides equal the same length. So if this side equals 11, this side is going to equal 11. So the bottom of my triangle is also 11. I need to figure out how tall it is from here to here. I know the whole line is 15. I also know that from here to here is 9. So I've used 9 of the 15, which means I have 6 left. And according to the formula for area of a triangle, the area of a triangle equals 1/2 the base times the height. So the base is going to be 11, and the height is 6, and then we have half of that. So 1/2 times 11 times 6 is going to give me 33. So I have 99 as my rectangle and 33 as my triangle, and I need to figure out the total, so I have to add those two things together to give me my total area for this shape right here, the pentagon. All right, the last one, number 27, says Amy is going to put 6 triangle tables together to make one large hexagon-shaped table. What is the area of the hexagon table? So we have a triangle where the base is 3 and the height is 3. And we need 6 of those. So we have to plug this into the formula for a triangle. Like I said in the last problem, the area of a triangle equals 1/2 base times height. So the base is 3 and the height is 3. So I have 1/2 of the base times the height. So I have 3 times 3 is 9 times half is 4.5. I think. Let me make sure. I don't want to be telling y'all wrong. Yes, 4.5. Okay. Sometimes I don't trust my own math skills. So one of these triangles equals 4.5. Okay. But we need 6 of those. So we have to come over here and we need to do 4.5 times 6. And that's going to give me my total answer right here of the total area for all 6 tables. Okay. Make sure that you have circled your answers on your homework sheet so that when we get to plug them into Edulastic tomorrow, that you have them all ready to go. Okay, see you tomorrow.